Hi guys, how are we doing? My name is Nemo. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, for sharing. And I think this volume I will not be able to hear myself. The volume seems to be pretty okay. It's just me. Now, as always, I have a lot I want to talk about. And I don't know how to do this, so I've decided to just do it because I don't know where to begin. And if you're wondering what is she looking down at or down on, I have some notes here, and I think they are going to help me do this. Now behind me there's a screen, and it's also on. It's also on to help me put this together. I don't know how many of you are Christians, or even if you're not, I don't know how many of you have heard of a prophet called Uber Angel. Now, the other day, how many days ago? It just went off. This was 13 days ago. This was 13 days ago, and this is in 2026, okay? Just give me, I have to pause a bit. There's something I'm trying to get at. So I'm just going to mute it so that I can look there in case I need to refer to something. But this year, this video is for this year, 2026, just 13 days ago. So it's called Thus Says the Lord. I am going to put it on the screen because this is kind of like a documentary, an audio, video. It's a mix of stuff and screenshots. So it's going to be on the screen also, so that you can go and watch it if you would like to. But this video is called Thus Says the Lord by Prophet Uber Angel, and the thumbnail is 5 years left. And let me I'm just going to stand so that it's not so much. I don't think we can be copyrighted for this, but so that it's not. Although I think I've said all the details. Thus says the Lord, only 5 years left. 5 years left. Yes, 5 years left. Thus says the Lord. And so for me, like most other people always come here and say, I will say I won't talk about something for the sake of talking about it. I will talk about it if I think it makes sense, or I can identify with it, right? So for me, the reason I want to talk about this video that this prophet made, or this sermon that he made, I don't know if it's a sermon, it's a warning, it's a advice. The reason I'm going to talk about it is because of some dreams I had or I've had. And how I'm going to help you with this is I'm going to share my dreams and then give you the minutes on the video where he talks about it, and then you can compare. Yeah, for example, he talks about communal living, because he's basically warning us that a lot of change is coming. And I'm sure if you're up to date with what's going on in the world, it doesn't surprise you also to hear a lot of change is coming. And you can expect a lot, especially gearing to 2030. They've been saying it's been for decades now, if not years. So it's not a surprise, especially in the world of tech and and the Great Reset. If maybe you've had something like the Great Reset, so I'm sure you're not surprised. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to give you the minutes, for example, communal living. That's where I was. At minute 29:56 of this video of You Bad Angel, at minute 29:56 to 31, let's just say 29:56 to 31, he talks about communal living. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot the dream I had about that. This one is very interesting because I actually redacted some information because they are very personal, very, very personal, and maybe silly. So I had to also redact my own files so I can share with you. Isn't that funny? Or isn't that something? Anyway, guys, so minute 29:56 to 30 when he talks about communal living, and this is what I wrote in this dream, and I want you to see the dates. There's a video I did, there's a one maybe clip that wasn't so clear, but in this one I've tried better. So you can see when I wrote these dreams, and understand that this video is for this year, just less than 2 weeks ago. It's for this year. And that's why it makes sense to me or means something to me, and why I would like to always say this, know what you think. Like, are we together in this? Have you also experienced something? So anyway, that's number one, communal living, which is why I don't think it's a joke, because if I was dreaming these kind of things or seeing visions after I've already heard him talk about it, then now you can be like, maybe not. Yeah, but this is before. So, and me, one thing I learned or told myself years ago is that the Spirit of God is one. The Spirit of God is one, which is why someone will be talking and it ministers to you or connects with you. It's like they are talking to you. And you're like, how? This is the same exact thought I've been having for days or for weeks or just yesterday, or this is the prayer. I just made this prayer last night, or I just had someone talking about this. You get. So that's why I usually say the Spirit of God is one and the same. It ministers similar or the same thing to us, which I don't know if this is my next one, but just allow me to mix it up. Yeah. There's one he talks about darkness in minute 33 and 25 seconds, 33 minutes and 25 seconds, up until 34 minutes and 15 seconds. He mentions darkness, and so I'm also putting the dream up there so that you can see what I also saw, and with the dates. Because as I record this, I don't have the timeline of the dreams. Most of them are last year, late last year, and some are years, like I'm talking 4 years back. Then there's one which got me thinking. It's about bankers. He talks about bankers at minute, which minute is this? Please, let's go back. Communal living is minute 29.56, meaning 29 minutes and 56 seconds to 30 minutes and 2 seconds. Please kindly forgive me because I may not be able to delete this while I'm editing. So communal living is minute 29 minutes and 56 seconds to 30 minutes and 2 seconds. And then this about bankers is at minute 31. Okay, minute 31, moving on. And so here I have 2 dreams. I have dreams to do with masks and shots and the Nephilim. Yeah, and this one especially about the shots. I wish I took note of that video. I watched maybe last year, but one or something, and a lot of people had this dream about people being injected with something really poisonous like before, but not the one for before, a different one. And so a lot of people had dreamt about it, not just me, and probably you too, maybe you too. And let us know, share, let's help each other. The world can be cold at times and a lonely place, or you can feel like you're alone, but sometimes it helps to connect a little bit, even just for that period or that moment or those few minutes. Now there's another one I had years ago, and it's about a helicopter, military helicopter, that gives people 4 minutes to worship. That one I have to go find it because I wrote it on a book like this. So I have to go find it. But it's because it talked about people being afraid even to pray, but doing it anyway because, oh, what are you going to do? But doing it in such fear because if they catch you. So this one, he talks about it at 28 minutes and 44 seconds up to 29 minutes and 26 seconds. Yeah, this one about people being afraid to worship, and I'm getting the dream and putting it on the screen so that we can read it together, or I can read it for you. So I don't know what you think, guys, or it doesn't, whatever you think, this is something to think about. It's something to pray about, because we don't want to be caught unawares. And now people are talking the whole day. Look at me. I'm here talking, and we can dismiss a lot of things. But my reason, and if you watch the intro of the video, the reason why I've started, or I have been paying a lot of attention to this prophet, is because everything he has prophesied has come true. I can't say everything because I don't know all of his prophecies. And also prophecies, sometimes they can change. You understand? It's not like just because someone prophesied something and then it failed, it means that person is a false prophet or prophetess. Sometimes they are dependent. For example, I am not a prophet, but because most of the dreams God gives me, and this is also part of the reason why I'm sharing with you these things, most of the dreams God gives me or shows me, they come to pass. Okay? But is it all of them? No. Let me explain. Sometimes he will show me something. either about someone or about myself or a country. It don't matter. But why will it not come to pass? Because I will understand that if I go this way, that is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen like this if I go this way. And so because it is not a good thing, or I don't want it for myself, so this is like a warning. Okay, God is warning me, don't, if you go here, this is what will happen. So if you're okay with that, you go that way. But if you don't want it to happen, go this other way. And so that is how the dream will not come to pass. If I want somebody that, hey, I think maybe here and here and here may be like this, and they don't heed to what they've heard, whatever was shown will happen. But if they do, then it will not happen. Can you then come and say, I'm a false dreamer? False prophet, false dreamer. So that's the same thing. Okay, that's why I was like, I don't know about all his prophecies coming to pass, but the ones I have heard him prophesy about have come to pass. And so that makes me think or believe that there is a lot of truth to him. And that's why I am not ashamed to talk about him and to also take this issue as something not to be overlooked. Yeah, and I also want to share with you guys, because some of you may not have heard him, and then you can hear it from me. And if you want, you can go and listen to him, or at least even if not, you will have heard it from me. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And it's a lot. So dream number 1 about communal living at 29 minutes and 56 seconds to 30 minutes and 2 seconds, which I dreamt on the 29th of August 2025 at 6:29 a.m. And I sent it to my email on September 2nd, same year. It's a big dream, but the only part I want to capture, which talks about the communal living, is this part which says, our business was cut short by distance and finances. Now this is the part I want you to hear. Everyone where we are, which feels like a community of sorts, knows. Okay, let me read that again. Everyone where we are, which feels like a sort of community, knows. The news have spread like wildfire. So this was an issue between me and another person, but in fact one of my relatives, and in this dream we are living communally. And I'm gonna tell you it's weird because it is my family, you know, mother, siblings and all that, and other people, strangers, people I've never seen, and not few people. Real communal living. And so when Hubert Angel is talking about communal living, I'm thinking about this dream that I had, which in that moment feels and seems bizarre, because oh my God, how can we come back again now to living like this? And yet everybody has their lives right now, at least most of us. I mean, for me, I'm still living with my mom, but now it's other people, even strangers and people I've never seen or met, or you get. So this got me thinking about that. Dream number 2 is the one where he talks about darkness at minute 33:25 seconds to 34 minutes and 15 seconds. 33 minutes and 25 seconds to 34 minutes and 15 seconds. Here he mentions darkness. And this is a dream I had, which I've titled Minutes of Darkness, which I heard not long ago. This one I had this year as well, on 4th February 2026. Although this is before I saw this video or I listened to him. Now, this one I'm gonna put a disclaimer on it because I overslept, or I woke up, did my thing, and then went back to bed. Usually, as per my experience, daydreams are usually very silly. Honestly, if you're like me and most people that I've talked to, they have the same experiences or they say the same things. When you have days during the dream, they are very silly. It's like they are telling you, get out of that bed. You're not supposed to be sleeping at this time. They're usually really, really funny and silly, and some are just downright ridiculous. So I do not pay attention to daydreams, although I have had, I'll say two dreams. That one, actually I had one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was so exhausted out of my mind, and I had just gotten a moment to relax, and this dream came, which is happening as I'm talking to you. So there are those very few times that I would say I have had serious daytime dreams. Yeah. So this one I'm putting a disclaimer on it, but just because it has darkness in it. And you know, darkness doesn't necessarily mean the lack of light. Darkness is there are so many ways to explain it. But let me just read this dream. And you can also read it on the screen. It's 9:30 a.m. I'm dreaming. In the dream, it's about midday or 1 o'clock. The sun is high up. Mom is in the living room as usual, and I'm either sleeping or just in my room. A sudden darkness engulfs the room, and suddenly it's dark everywhere. I pick my curtain to check outside, but the darkness is so piercing that I quickly close the curtain. It almost feels painful to the eyes. You know, like when you look at direct sunlight? Yeah. I explain, the Nephilim, in fear because of a dream I had not so long ago, then immediately call the name Jesus. I always call the name Jesus whenever, and you should too. Anytime you're in trouble. Even when you're not, this name is powerful. It is the name of God. Anyway, let's continue. I recall the 3 days of darkness that was all over social media in September, and understand that it's what is happening. And for some minutes or seconds, I'm bummed that Jesus is finally coming back. I mean, that was supposed to be the progression. First the darkness and then the rapture. Now let me explain here a bit. Last year, 2025, there was all this talk of a rapture in September, and then when it didn't happen, people started saying October and on and on. And there was a blood moon in, I think, same September or October. There was a blood moon, which even here at home people saw. And so there was all this talk on top of rapture that there was going to be 3 days of darkness. Apparently, it's a Catholic belief. I don't know when those 3 days of darkness are supposed to happen. Darkness that can be felt, like when the children of Israel, when the angel of death came to kill the firstborns of the Egyptians, and they said there was a darkness that you could feel. And so there was that talk. It didn't happen, well, I didn't experience it. I don't know if anybody did. But so now in this dream, there is this kind of darkness that is so piercing, like you can't even look outside because it's like, it is moving. It's its own entity. Anyway, now to conclude, back to reading, I can already feel chaos beginning to rise outside, which makes me wonder because they, the chaos, it seems, won't even wait for rapture. In my mind, at Patlis is a club. Patlis is my neighbor with a B&B a short distance from our home. So in my mind, at this place is a club, not an apartment and B&B, and slight excited shouting can be heard coming from there. I'm wondering, do these people not understand what's going on? Neither of us, Sue, my mom, that is, and I bother to ask each other what's going on. I think we just know. But suddenly, it's light again. Okay, so this is the second dream about darkness, which I'm putting a disclaimer on because I had it while sleeping at 9:30 a.m., not my usual time, but it's not one of those silly dreams. You just know when it's a silly dream. But so this is the second dream, and we are on to the third one. The third one is the bankers one, which he talks about it at minute 31. Going forward, I don't know up to what minute. I didn't write up to what minute, but it starts at minute 31. Now this one, though you will read with me if you'd like to, because it's on the screen, I cannot put a time and date to it because the way I started it, it's not relevant here. So I won't be able to capture the date for you on the screen because it won't make sense, the one I wrote first. But so now after writing the first dream, because I wrote 5 of them together, you get it. So I'm just going to read these 2. But this one I wrote, I wrote to my email at 6:20 p.m. on 24th August 2025. But the heading is, well, forget the heading. This is for the dreams I've had in 2024 and previously. So this is because sometimes I've had dreams and I don't write them down. Especially in the beginning when I started dreaming a lot, which is since 2019. That's, no, 2020. The end of 2020, that's when I really started having so many dreams. I was just unable to sleep one night on my bed and I said, God, give me your dreams, or God, show me your dreams. And minutes later, I doze off and I start dreaming. And now it started happening a lot since then. And of course, at first I didn't understand. And then when they start happening, I start wondering, oh, wait a minute. And so some I didn't write because I didn't understand that nearly all of them were going to come to pass. And so some I've had to write later when I realized, oops, I should have written them when I had them. So this is one of them, but let's just go ahead and read. The first one says, and this one I had in 2021. It was during COVID time. These 2, I had them around and I remember very clearly. I'm not clear on the month or the day, but I know it was in 2020, around COVID, when COVID had started and lockdowns and all that stuff. So this is what it says. The world has gone crazy and people are in these crazy heavy-duty masks like you see in movies where you have to be in such a mask because everything is contaminated. There is violence everywhere and everywhere is a mess. So then I say, This I received in 2020 or 2021 while in Kagio, just what I was explaining to you, another town where I had a business. So this I received in 2020 or 2021 while in Kagio, because I remember compartmentalizing it as just one of those because of what was going on, meaning COVID. Then I go on and say, unfortunately, each dream that I ignore or don't write down also comes to pass. So here I am way late in the game writing about it, because as I've explained, I wrote this just late last year, August. I just thought, let me write these dreams down because they keep coming to my mind. Let me just write them down, even if they happened long ago and I didn't write them down then. So this I wrote in last year, August 2025, but they are for 2024 going back. As you can see, this one is for 2020 or 2021. Then I conclude, not that it has happened, but the fact that the fact that the dash one almost happened this week or next week, and I had totally forgotten about it, has jolted me. In short, I experienced something that made me understand that a dream I had back during this time in 2020, 2021 or 2022, it was about to happen. It was already in motion. And this is what got me thinking, oh my God. You get, and it is what prompted me to write, because it was already starting to happen about this person. Okay, we are done with that one. Now we go on to the other one. There is another one where people in a sort of camp have been given something. Two, I think, decide to run away, a lady and a man, so as not to receive what had been given to the others. And these soldiers come to the camp in a mad rush to look for them, and everything is halted until they can find them and force them to get what everyone else has received. Sound familiar? So the rest of the people remain seated around waiting, whereas I think they were about to be headed somewhere before word of the escapists got out. I'm afraid for them and this whole situation because it stinks. And if this is not what happened during that time, then I imagine it's coming. This is now me, my final thought. That if this is not what happened in these years we are talking about, then it's coming. Yeah, because now I'm writing this understanding that there's more evil things planned, more pandemics, not pandemics, coming. So this, you see now me, I attributed this to what was going on then. That's why I didn't even write them. I thought, it's because we are going through this, that's why this is happening. But now I start to realize that probably not. And so when I hear Prophet Hubert Angel talking about bankers, I'm like, wow, it may be that the environment will be so contaminated that people will, God forbid we, but people will need masks, and not these masks we had on during COVID, but really heavy duty, crazy kind of masks, because the air is so bad. And so this reminded me of these two dreams, and it may be that they are building bunkers because of also literal Nephilim, or because of this kind of contamination. And I've already mentioned about the Nephilim dream in the one I've just talked about in the second dream about darkness. And there's also another one here about the Nephilim, where this one is called Keys, Naked People, and the Nephilim. This one, I had it on Saturday, the 1st of November, 2025, and I sent it to my email on the 3rd. I had it on the 1st, I sent it to my email on the 3rd. This one says, before 6 a.m. I attributed it to being stressed out of my mind, like I have told you, like I mentioned while I was talking with the TV behind me. I attributed it to being stressed out of my mind and heavy rain all night from Friday evening and the fruitless search and regretting joining the keys. I had lost my keys and it rained the same time that I did, and so looking for them, not finding it was so frustrating, guys. So frustrating. And waiting to do it all over again this morning, praying to find them, but knowing I still may not, because maybe they would have been washed off by the water. And knowing if the rain does not wash them farther and farther away, then the mud might bury them. Nothing to be stressed about, really. I kept thinking about all the thousands and million people have lost, but still, it was a different kind of pressure. So I sleep midnight to 3, and when 4 finds me still awake, no. This is the wrong dream, guys. I mean, not the wrong dream, but I should not have talked about all that. I shouldn't have. So let's go to the dream. Even I've written it. That was my preempt. Now the dream says, which may have to do with why they are building bunkers, maybe contamination, or real Nephilim, giant people walking, or God knows what. So I wake up in a startle. I go to open the curtain, praying it's still dark outside, and that's when I see them. 3 tall over the house roof Nephilims. I'm a little surprised and scared, so I close the curtain slowly so that they don't look down and see me as I think how to escape. I get out of the bedroom and walk the corridor heading I don't know where, but as I near the living room, I feel something is off. I go as if headed to the kitchen, and that's when I see the mattress on the floor, and I'm wondering when she got here, meaning my auntie, because she was not here by the time I went to bed last night. But wait, it's not just her alone, it's also Dash and Dash, that is my cousin, and her daughter. So mother, daughter, and daughter are here. I go to the window and look outside, and now it's no longer the Nephilim, but many people outside our compound moving around naked. There are so many, and I'm freaking out as I hurriedly beckon Dash, that's my auntie, to come have a look, but she barely stands up from her chair to look. She sneers with her mouth. Dash asks her if she's seen anything, and she says no. Dash, now the daughter, doesn't bother looking. I can't believe she thinks I'm crazy for seeing what I'm seeing, but I tell myself it's okay. It happens. I scream, "Mom!" since maybe she will help, but on looking outside again, the people are now dressed and a young woman is motioning them to get out, of which they are through the small gate. I then walk back towards my room, blah, 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 that one, forget about it. But my point here is bunkers, and we have masks because the air is contaminated, and people are being forced to take something like they were a couple of years ago that they obviously should not be getting. And now this 2 Nephilim dream. And I'm thinking, all these guys as this Uber Angel, well, the ones who help him with the videos, they like to say, all these things are not coincidences, man. Are they? Can they be? They like saying coincidence is when God decides to be anonymous. And if you haven't heard or don't know, this whole world is a stage, and we're just actors in it, so no. All these things, not coincidences, and in fact, I don't believe anymore that anything is. We are all here playing out our roles on this earth and in the universe. Now, we have one more dream to go, so let's keep it moving. Before we get to the fourth and final dream for this episode, and guys, please, I beg you, by the love of God, by the grace of God, to bear with me. Let me just talk about this one that I had mentioned when I started the video about people going online and seeing a video of people saying they had been having the same kind of dream of people being jabbed with the syringes full of poisonous things. Let me just go through this one and then we do the final one and then we finish the video. Okay, guys, please kindly, thank you, apologies. And so this one is I sent this one to my email January 6th, 2024, but I wrote it 27th December 2023 at 6 something a.m. as you can see on the screen. Before I do, I want to say that in 2023 I took a 4-month course in Nairobi to become a caregiver, and I had plans to travel to either Canada or any other country to do this job, to do this work, but I did not get a visa, and we did our internship at Nairobi Women's Hospital, Adams Arcade. So this is where the dream is. All right, let's read. This is why I mentioned Nairobi Women's Hospital, in case you may wonder. So it reads, Nairobi Women's again. Again, because I've had many dreams while I'm there. Nairobi Women's again. Renovations are taking place or have taken place, but when I go to find where I left my things, I can't find a place within the now many-floored building, which is a mix of everything. To the point, I find myself going outside to look for my things. I still can't find them. A young, polite young woman approaches me and starts talking to me, wanting to help. As I walk with her, not saying anything, I'm aware she's about to inject me with poison. I do nothing until she is holding the syringe and needle and going to inject my left upper arm. She does a little while I push her away as I try to break the needle, or is it inject her instead? She tries a second time and a little more enters, but I manage to, break the needle or throw away the syringe and get away from her, repeating over and over that even if I drink poison, it won't hurt me. I can feel the effect of the little poison that she injected me with, but I'm adamantly confessing. Hold a second, guys. Hold a second. I have to receive a phone call.